Hey guys, Magnus here, bringing you another video. This one we're going to be ranking the mini events of 2017. So, what classifies as a mini event? So, a mini event is basically, I'm classing it as an event that essentially follows the same format as normal mini events do. So, there's a similar prize track. You guys know what I'm talking about, I think, most people. So things like the superheroes and the Lunar New Year, I don't include because I just think that they're too small, they're too insignificant to really be an event. I was considering throwing superheroes into this list just because although it wasn't really set out like that, it still had a lot of content, but I decided against it. There's not really much point, and I'm not sure I'd even rank it anyway, but yeah, so let's do this. So this only includes 6 mini events, and so there was only 6 mini events this year, as well as 6 major events. So I don't know if that's like the norm, but anyway, let's get to number 6. So number 6, and the worst one if you want. So this is the worst to best. The worst one is Thanksgiving Gone to Birds. So this was, of course, the Thanksgiving that we got. Now, it did give us its own splash screen, which is kind of cool, which I'd have to give props on. But in terms of actual content, I just think it was the worst. No, technically, from the actual event, now, you can include, like, the Red Goblin and the Blue Goblin, which were Halloween takedowns. I don't include them, though. And the Itchy and Scratchy Bot was Cyber Monday, so I don't include that. So the only character we got was actually Quinn Hopper. Now, Quinn Harper, I just don't really think is a very interesting character. She was kind of flat. I don't really know the episode she's from, and her herself wasn't that interesting in the game. Program and Lisa, we got as a skin, which is an okay skin, I guess. It's not too bad. And Coat of Fox's Krusty, which again, I don't think is a terrible skin. It's kind of funny. We got 2 buildings, the Slaughterhouse Restaurant and the Deuce's Caboose Chili Dogs. I mean, those 2 buildings actually were kind of cool, and I don't really have anything against them. The Meat Propaganda Billboard, the Slaughterhouse Express, the Sir Loinalot, and Conrad, the Billboard. And that came with Quinn Hopper, of course. I just think that in terms of content, it was very kind of meh. Like, the content was okay, I guess. The thing is I had against this is it really just didn't like the story. And again, it might come down to me not really celebrating Thanksgiving like it's possible. I just thought the story was boring and I just didn't like it at all. The actual structure itself wasn't particularly that great, and the event overall I just think was very forgettable. Like, I didn't like, this was the one I completely forgot about. I was like, oh yeah, we got a Thanksgiving. I just don't think it's very memorable. There isn't really anything that great in it. Like, I guess for me, Quinn Hopper isn't an interesting character. I guess Program and Lisa and Coat of Fox Krusty is a very meh costumes, in my opinion, and not that great. And costume, anyway, isn't that great. The 2 buildings, though, were pretty solid. I do think the buildings that we got were really cool. And it's a shame that I have to put this so low, but because we did get 2 really awesome buildings, but whatever. Anyway, number 5, or the next one. So the next one on the list, I've put the Rommelwood Academy update. So why have I put the Rommelwood Academy update? So the only reason I put this here is because I just didn't think, again, it comes down to, in terms of like content, what did it give us? I just didn't think it really gave us that much content, really. So we got Leopold, who was a really cool character. I do think that was an interesting one to get. And then we got one skin, which is Cadet Lisa. Now, some people do include the Hellfish Abe and the Hellfish Burns, but that was actually a separate thing. That was a guilds deal that was separate to it, so technically they are not a part of it. We got 3 buildings. That was Rommelwood Academy, Hangar 18, and the Enriched Learning Centre. All decent buildings. I don't really got anything against them. And then there's a few decorations: the Rommelwood statue, the Rommelwood barracks, the Eliminator, which was really cool decoration. I really like that, actually. But the keep out sign. And then a few other things like the tank and the training plane. And I'm trying to distinguish which was actually the Hellfish Bonzer. But anyway, yeah. So that was kind of, so we've got 1 character, 1 costume, and 3 buildings. Decorations, I guess, are cool, but I'm not really they don't really sway my opinion too much. But so yeah, in terms of that, like, I just think that overall it was cool, but it would have been better if they implemented like the stuff with the Hellfish and they actually made it a part of this event. That may have put up the list a little bit more, but I don't know. I just kind of think that it was very mediocre, really, in terms of content. And again, it's not a bad update. Like, I don't think this is a bad update at all. It just comes down to, like, the other updates were just better than it, and it is kind of annoying that I have to put this so low, because I actually really liked Rommelwood. I thought it was a kind of a cool update. It was nice to have, but yeah, unfortunately I'm gonna have to put it here, so that's a shame. Anyway, moving on. Next on the list, I have put the Pin Pals. So yeah, so it was kind of funny that I put the Pin Pals above Rommelwood, only just, and it's just I just really enjoyed it. I think it was mainly to do with the timing. Like I really remember the Pin Pals because in terms of timing, I just think it was well placed. Like it made sense. Just trying to find out what the update was before it. So before it was Secret Agents. So Secret Agents and Easter just ended, and then we got Pin Pals. I don't know. I just think it was a nice bridge between that and the Time Traveling Toaster. It was just kind of an upbeat kind of update. I don't know, something about it. We got Jock. Jock, of course, was a premium character. He came with the Fiesta Terrence. We got 3 costumes. We got Pin Pal Homer, Pin Pal Burns, Pin Pal Mo, and we got the Pin Pal Bowling Alley, Nick's Bowling Shop, the other Nick's Bowling Shop, and Fiesta Terrence. So 4 buildings, 3 costumes, and 1 character. In terms of content, like you can't complain. It did add something. It did add some cool stuff. It also added the claw machine, which I think is a really interesting mini game they added. Of course. I think it's probably the best mini game we've got in the game currently that's still active. Of course, you use the claw machine to get free decorations and stuff, and there's the chance that you can get premium decorations in that. A very small chance, but a chance nonetheless. But really cool. And also it's like a post-event rewards, or like rewards, just a random prize, obviously. But yeah, I don't know. I just think that it, in terms of an update, it was just really upbeat and really cool, and I actually really liked it as an update. And you get stuff like the perfect game balloon as well. The bowling lanes I thought were a bit of an annoying decoration, to be honest, and I liked it for the fact that it completed the Pin Pals category, because the Pin Pals category before literally just had Pin Pal Poo, and then they completed it with adding all the other Pin Pal costumes. That's another thing that I really like it for. It just completed the category. And Jock himself is a cool character. The one thing I had about this update is it would have made sense to add in Barney's uncle, but they didn't, because Barney's uncle, just add him as a free character. It would have been fine, but they just didn't, so that was kind of annoying, but whatever. Number 3. So number 3, I have put the county fair. So I honestly thought this was going to be lower, but I ended up putting it a little bit higher than I intend. Like I thought originally I was going to put Pin Pals above this, but I've given this just the edge, only just though. It's only just above Pin Pals in my opinion. So we got 2 characters, Amber Dempsey and Mary Spruckler. So 2 characters in itself is pretty cool, but both of them were premium characters, so it's not like that great. Like they're both premium. So like, although yes, it's added 2 characters, one of them isn't free for people. Like you have to have donuts to buy them. So I just think that was kind of shitty, and the only costume you get is Little Miss Springfield, which I think is a very forgettable costume, a costume I don't really particularly like. The Fair Pavilion, the Cheddar Ball Farm, Turn Your Head on and Coif, Ye Olde Off Ramp Inn, and the Springfield Opry House. I honestly, all the buildings apart from the Yield, like the Yield, the hairdresser's place and the Yield Off Ramp Inn, I guess are 2 kind of cool 2 buildings. I actually really like the Yield Off Old Ramp Inn. I think that's a really cool building. The other 2 though, or the other 3 buildings even, the farm, the pavilion, and the Springfield Opry House, whatever it's called, I just don't like them buildings at all. I just think they're very bland and boring, and they don't really do much. They weren't particularly very interesting to get in the game. They're cool, I guess, just because we've got more buildings, but I just don't think they were that great. And I just had to put that there. It's a shame, but that's it. We got some okay decorations, like the cornfield, the wheat field, the plowed field, the world's biggest ribbon, the county fair sign, the Cheddar Ball combine, Cheddar Barrel Combine, and the Paralyzer. The Paralyzer is a really cool decoration. I like the fact we got the Combine Harvester. That was really cool. The sign, I guess, is okay. The ribbon's okay. I don't really mind them. I don't care. So honestly, it did add some cool stuff. Like I think that those kind of things were really cool to add. The story was okay as well. I wasn't too bothered about the story. I guess the main thing that really annoyed me is the fact that Amber and Mary are 2 premium characters, but it did add 2 characters nonetheless. But I don't know. I feel like they could have made one of them free, and I had a beef against this because I wanted them to do like a Valentine's Day thing with Mary Spruckler, and I felt Mary Spruckler's storyline was really bad because it just didn't really do much with her and Bart. Like I wanted them to kind of revisit that whole relationship with her and Bart, but they just decided not to. But whatever. So yeah, number 2. So let's get to number 2. So number 2, I have put Pride 2017. So Yeah, like it just, of course, if you guys don't know what number one is, you might have figured it out by process of elimination. But the reason that the Pride just doesn't win against the top one is more for pure nostalgia. Because in terms of content, I think Pride is probably the best mini event. But in terms of like which one I preferred personally, unfortunately, I had to give it to the one that's got number one. But I think personally, like, Pride 2017 was a really, in terms of content, was a great update. We got Grady, we got Julio, and the thing with Julio and Grady is Julio was Julio was premium and Grady was free. There was one costume which is Roller Skate Smithers, and that was also premium as well. It came with the Sconwell Bakery. And then in terms of the in characters and costumes, like that's kind of cool. But in terms of buildings, like the buildings were great. We got the Armistead's Mopeds, the Village Apartments, the One Night Stands, the League of Extra Horny Gentlemen, the Sconwell Bakery, and Harry Shearer's. Awesome buildings. Some really cool stuff. We got Moose, which was a skin for Mose, which is kind of funny, and a bunch of like the Crossroads stuff, the decoration, the balloons, and a bunch of like different coloured hydrants, which is kind of was really cool to get. And then of course all the normal returning gay stuff. So yeah, and I'm not against them doing an update like entirely. I just want them to be very kind of mediocre on the politics if they're going to do like a Pride, because the problem with the Pride movement is, yeah, of course, but it's obviously I support them in terms of what they're trying to do, or for the most part anyway. There's some parts I disagree with the Pride movement, but the thing is, the Pride movement is very political, and it's not just about well, in my opinion, it's not just about gay rights. It's about it is also a political thing. It's a very left-wing political thing as well. And I think that's why a lot of like conservative, like people who are, well, not conservative, but people who are like right-leaning, or they're very centre, like gay people who are centre or right-leaning, they don't agree with the Pride movement, and they don't follow the Pride movement because it is very political. And so I'm okay with them coming back to Tap Out. I hate to go into politics, but this is a political update, so it's kind of hard not to. So coming back to this update, I think it was very lenient towards the whole, because it had a storyline about bathrooms and trans people's bathrooms and all that. It had a lot about that, so it wasn't completely devoid from politics. And okay, it's kind of hard to do a Pride update and not be a little bit political. I get that. I just think that they really could have avoided all that stuff with the trans bathrooms. They just didn't need to put that in at all. It was just unnecessary. They could have focused more on Julio and what he was doing, or not Julio, sorry, Grady, or like the relationship between Smithers or Grady. That would have been fine. Well, they did a little bit of that, but like, I wanted them to do kind of just that, really. And not really focus too much on the politics, just focus on the relationships. And they did that a little bit, so I can't complain too much. But in terms of content, it was a great update. I just think there's one, personally, for me, pure nostalgia that beats this update. So can we have that drum roll? So, of course, number one goes to Homer the Heretic. So, why do I give it to Homer the Heretic? So, honestly, like, thinking about this, because I'm pretty sure when I did the Pride update, when I did did my video on the Pride update, I basically said that the Pride update was good, but No, I said the Pride update was like the best mini event we've got in ages. I'm pretty sure that's what I was trying to say. Yeah, I said the Pride mini event was like one of the best updates we had in ages, and honestly, I thought that was true, and then when I looked back, I remembered how much I loved Homer the Heretic. Now, Homer the Heretic, bear in mind, was the first update we got in 2017, and I think it was the perfect start to 2017. And in some ways, it was a really good start. It was the best start it possibly could have had. We got two characters, Rabbi Krustascoffy and Brother Faith. Granted, Brother Faith and Rabbi Krustascoffy were both premium, and I know I kind of lampooned Amber Dempsey and the other one, Mary Sprookler, on that, but I don't know, to me, it's like 150 donuts, Temple Beth Springfield, and Rabbi Krustascoffy, that's worth it. Amber Dempsey and whatever the heck she came with, the year older Rampian, I don't think that's worth 150. Like, I think a really interesting and like really cool character like Rabbi Krustascoffy is way better than Amber. So I think that donut price is not worth it, but it's close to worth it. We got one costume, Sunday Morning Homer, which is just an awesome costume. You can't deny that that's an awesome costume. I know it's kind of funny because it's him in his dressing gown and his slippers, but it is an awesome costume. And also, he's been seen in that so many times, and it makes sense. And all the tasks he gets are really cool in that costume. And this costume I actually really enjoy. 4 buildings: Temple Beth Springfield, the Penny Fountain, Hamburger Heaven, and the Cut Glass Cathedral. 4 decorations: the perfect beer truck, brother face van, the fake toll booth, and the chess table. Yeah, so that was it. And the one thing that did annoy me is there was a bunch of animations that were prized. 2 animations which were prized, which I didn't like. I didn't like that at all. But you got to imagine that the animations that Homer's Sunday Morning Homer has are really, really cool anyway. I guess the one thing that would have made this event perfect is if Rabbi Krustascoffy was the final prize, or if Brother Faith was the final prize. Like, one of them being the final prizes would have made this mini-event perfect. It's not perfect, of course not, but in terms of nostalgia, for Rabbi Krustascoffy, for the Brother Faith episode, for Homer's and his Sunday Morning Homer Institute, and that entire episode that it's based off, to me, was just way, way better than the Pride update, because the Pride update was kind of a mixture of stuff, while this was like just one, pretty much based on one episode, and then they kind of threw in Rabbi Krustascoffy in there. But I just think it was really, really good. I really enjoyed this episode. It was episode tie-in, technically, because it technically is. I really enjoyed this mini event. It was just awesome, so it gets number 1 in my opinion, and that's my list. So anyway, tell me your list, guys. What's your favorite ones? Rank them for me. There's only 6, so make sure to rank them in the comments. I really enjoyed it when you guys do that. I do look at the comments. I might not reply to them all, but I do actually read all the comments. It's just, I don't know, I just can't really reply to everyone. I don't really have the time, and also sometimes it's just awkward. I don't know how to like reply to certain comments. Like, there'll be like a long paragraph. Like, especially when Apperson does it. When you leave your comments and I don't reply to them, it's not because I'm being rude. It's just because I generally don't know how to reply to like such a massive paragraph. So I feel like I have to leave a paragraph. I'm like, but I don't have the time to leave a paragraph. So I end up just ignore them. So if I like them, I'll probably just like them or give them a heart or pin them or something. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy. Goodbye.